Welcome back to another SoulePowered every weekend, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, and there's usually two topics. As you know, you can request the topics the same way you can request a solution to a problem, or if you have a problem, you can submit it that way, so you can do that. And today's topics are relationships and dreams, and I thought I had a nonsense, but I lost them already, so that kind of sucks. But with relationships, they don't always start out the best, or they're not always what you expected. Sometimes you want the same relationship that everybody else. Sometimes you don't get the relationship, and there can be a lot of problems in relationships too. There can be conflict. You can have resolutions after that conflict, and those are the problems that go throughout relationships. Like if you don't like that person, or if you're fighting with that person, you've been with that person for a while and you care about them, how can you resolve that problem between them? Or do you need a third person to kind of split those conflicts up? Or if somebody is considering you a brother but you don't like them that way, how could you fix that? And a lot of problems like those are complicated. Or having multiple crushes, as when you have multiple crushes, it's kind of hard. You fall in love fast, and then it's possible you'll get heartbroken a lot faster. There's what else is there? Or if two people like the same person, that creates a conflict, and then there's a fourth person that comes in there, and that person's telling the other two people that they don't like that conflict, or they like somebody else, and they try to move on, but they're still falling for somebody extremely fast. They don't think about it, and it gets in their way of judgment or perceiving what they want to do or who they actually want to date. They just kind of fall for that person instantly. They don't really think for who that person is or their personality, but they're still willing to give them a try. And once you're in the relationship, throughout it, you might be dating somebody for hours. There could be arguments, there could be conflicts and drama between other friends who also would date that person, and it adds up. Not all relationships are the same, but a lot of them come out to be resulting the same in violence or abuse, and you really don't want that at all out or in a relationship, because it can hurt you emotionally, and then you can do a lot of other things to you as well. It can hurt you physically in some ways, or make you emotionally depressed, and it can be the same for both people. Sometimes you have to decide between those two people what you want to do or what you're doing, and it pretty much hurts either side. Some people don't show it, and despite like being the same sex or gender, having the same gender involved, what's that going to do for the people? Is that going to help them, or is that going to be different? Because being judgmental in a relationship too, or judging others who are in certain relationships trying to do something new, isn't really acceptable to that point. And you want to accept people for who they are. And this, well, you do want to accept them for who they are and what they're doing. Yeah, why not have a hood off? It looks so weird, but yeah. So you want to be respectful of others. You want to not make the issue any worse than it is, and being able to help out your friends. If you have something to say to them, you don't want to lie to them. Either way, it can hurt the sides of relationships, but you don't want to lie. And being a player, having multiple boyfriends or girlfriends is also not acceptable. I mean, some people really probably don't care, don't understand the relationship concept, but it's to have a special time with that one person, and it truly does hurt to have your emotions played with and downpoured on. But people have to go through those things and learn from them. Some people learn more than others, some people do not, and you'll have to accept. Also, a lot of things is acceptance and denial. You can deny that I was never in this relationship, or you can also be confused too. And were you ever in a relationship with the person? Were they just playing you, or were they playing that other person and they're in the relationship? And that's where being a player like that comes in. And there's a lot of things, like if you're on your first date or on a honeymoon somewhere, it's like, what if you want to get married in the future and you find your wife or fiance, whatever you would care to say, finally getting married or on a honeymoon somewhere, and they finally step up to the plate and they tell you actually what's wrong, and you sadly have to end it there because they couldn't tell you any sooner than that. So it's trying to channel around the relationships, because if you're gonna rush into one, something like that can happen, and it's going to hurt regardless of one person probably not showing emotions, because it's not just going to hurt you, but possibly people around you too. Because what if they wanted a chance to try to date that person, or why are you cheating on the person? What they ever do to you? Usually one side does something and the other side will do it, kind of like a symmetrical line of following each other. So if you're not gonna play each other, then you should be able to date. But if one side's gonna lie, play, and cheat, you shouldn't date them. And if they're telling you and you're continuing to do it too, or another person tells you that you don't believe them and you continue, you could always ask for advice. Maybe somebody who's single too, they actually know a lot because they're usually observing the relationships around them and it gives them more time to observe them. So asking somebody who's single for advice is usually a good thing, and people are wondering why that's not. They're usually pretty observant. I mean, if you have one person that's walking around that sees all these relationships, they notice more signs because, I mean, the people that are in relationships, they're too busy cuddling, kissy facing, or talking about trauma, whatever they're doing, and it affects them in that way. So there's those things about relationships. A lie, do I never know where we're at. Relationships. I'm still here. We're only hi. We're, hold on, you guys. I do apologize. do apologize for that short little interruption, but things should be going hopefully about now. And if they're not, I do apologize if things are a bit slow or laggy-ish. But again, with those concepts of relationships or finding somebody, you might want to take your time and not just rush through all the relationships and stuff like that. Distractions, distractions, distractions. Well, I'm gonna say it's still going. If you guys can see it on your end, it should be pretty good. So relationship stuff and like that. What else is there? We covered relationship. So how would you deal with cheating or okay, we're still good. How would you deal with cheating or playing with somebody again you want to talk to a friend? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a single friend, but it can be a friend of a friend, or it can be adults, your mom, dad, whatever friends you live with, even a sibling too. I mean, again, they don't have to be like a friend or somebody in and out of relationships, somebody you're close to who might have knowledge of being in relationships before too, and like what do you want then besides cheating and that if your date are going good, what do you want to do for your first month they're dating too, and guess they don't have to go all out, or if the person's going to be just really mean to you, don't date them or you have to end it off. And because you can get somebody really small meaningful gifts where just spending time should be enough for them, or hanging out with them. You can have your alone time, sometimes you'll be with friends, but if you spend a lot of time with them too, it's no harm. Long distance relationships on the other hand, don't really see the person that much, it's a lot harder for you to kind of fall in love with them or feel the same way, or it might end up driving you a bit crazy because you want to, let's say, find some way to get all the way from Canada to Mexico or Texas, and that's pretty far, and you're like gonna drive your bike all the way there. That would be pretty insane to do, or try to fly a plane or something. So of things can drive you insane sometimes, and in a good way they can too, but those experiences are good to have throughout relationships or having good times with them. If you're not gonna follow through to relationships, I mean, some people are single for a really long time and they still know quite a bit and it's still frozen, or is it? Yeah, I don't know what it is or not, but sorry, I get distracted every once in a while. I'll try to make sure this is still going because it's like, it's not going. How are you guys going to hear about the relationship stuff? As for considering somebody your brother to, or if you're, because what if you want to ask somebody, but then they're just like, they consider your brother. If you still try to insist on, I admit that's weird, but yeah, they probably aren't actually your brother or sister. But again, that is still kind of strange if they're considering you that, like a polite way is telling them if they didn't consider you that way, they would date you, and that's pretty polite. Or some people of the judgmental part too have to, oh, the girl always has to be shorter, or she has to be country, or she has to have blue eyes, green eyes, brown hair. She has to have this tone of skin. She has to speak just English. She has to be smarter or dumber than me. Those are the judge mental parts, as if you were judging. Why do you want to judge somebody? Again, just try to give somebody a new try. I mean, if you're appealed to them and they're appealed to you, again, does the girl have to ask the boy out? Does the boy have to ask the girl out? Usually it's boy that's taller and the girl's short, and the boy usually asks the girl out, but it can be the girl's taller and the girl can ask you out. There's nothing wrong with that relationships, or two girls going out together, two boys going out. I mean, in some sense, people say otherwise, but it's truly what they feel like. Because you can love anybody. If you can love anybody as a brother or sister, I mean, if you're gonna ask your cat out or marry your cat, that's obviously probably pretty weird or marrying some sort of animal. But other than that, asking somebody out in a general nice way, if you want to take them out on a first date, I mean, you don't necessarily have to smoke, but you start hitting it off really well as then you're like best friend zone. Eventually, you could be potentially a relationship at some point. You might not know when. Maybe it's not going to be with that person. You might form another bond, or yeah. What else? And what else? There's a well, how long have we been talking for this? Then sorry, I really need my glasses because I can't see. Great. Equal solutions. If your girlfriend's gonna complain a lot, then she's gonna complain a lot. See how dirty these are? I can actually. That's really sad. See how dirty my own glasses are. You could even have a girlfriend that can clean your glasses for you. I don't. So yeah, there's a lot of things like, oh, listen, are you gonna find your dream girl at some point? You might, or you could have about 5 relationships to 5 players. You never know. They're unpredictable. Some more predictable than the others, and it always really depends on what you're doing or who you're dating, who you're around. It can depend on a lot of different things. As for specifically, I really don't know because we all have our different preferences, but the things what I've seen is people they're interested in mostly, well, I can say the girls as friends, they're mostly interested into guys who are country, okay, never mind, who are interested into country stuff or have country accents or southern, and that's because they're a country girl, but they're like up north too, but they still, so sometimes the same preferences will work out, and giving yourself a new shot at something too is equally as valued. It's nice to get out of the comfort zone. Like, you're not always gonna fall in love really fast. You may have 2 relationships your whole life, kind of next to each other. Then after that, they might end a bit, and I just at a standstill, waiting for which girl to talk to, or which gender, whichever one you basically want to value, and so it's as if you could even ask your teachers for advice too. Teachers are actually pretty really good at giving advice because they always have to tell the kids in their schools to stop making kissy faces, or that's not appropriate. Do that on your own time, and there's a lot of things like that. I mean, if the earliest I've seen probably relationships form are in middle school, and if they don't form in middle school, there's a lot more in high school, and then post-secondary high schools, or then you have, well, colleges, basically post-secondary. I don't know what I'm making sense of. I would not be a good teacher. But yeah, so there's that. So if you're in college and then maybe some people could end up getting married in college or dating somebody, but I don't know, what if you date somebody for 5 years and you hit it off and you get married, you have kids, you settle down somewhere, but sometimes it can end up in where before even you get married, it's like a divorce or after that. Because once you're married too, things aren't always going to go as you perceive them, or not going to like them. You're not always going to get your way. Neither side would always get their way, and you have to compromise. Where when you're not getting your way in bed or by a tree or cooking sandwiches or whatever, it's like you're gonna start an argument, and then because of hormones, adrenaline, and all that, something could break out. But before it gets to a boiling point like that, you want to assure that you can resolve those conflicts. And again, they're not going to be perfect in any way. They're not going to be like the most efficient. Some will end badly, some will end great, some will end in neutral land. And what else? Do, 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 do. La, 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 la. We only had about 15, 16 minutes, so yeah. Break time now? No, I wish. Let's see what else is there for relationships. I really should start writing notes down for this stuff, but again, it's kind of hard to go off of experiences or other people's experience. So I've seen, like the examples I've given to or people I've talked to, I'd probably say the best advice you get is from your parents, your guardian. Necessarily not your best friend. They might criticize you a lot more, but teachers too, because they see you so much around. Or, I mean, sometimes teachers have those experiences too, and teachers teach how they teach their children. And so in that way, you could ask the teacher, how is this being like a relationship, or what's going to happen in the future, and kind of discussions. I mean, I wouldn't highly recommend it, but if you're good enough friends or acquainted with that teacher, then it's at the point where you can talk to them, you can understand them, and they can give you feedback. Like if you're in a current relationship and somebody moves away and it turns into a long distance relationship, it's complicated and you're not really sure what to do and you don't want to break the person's heart and they don't really want to break your heart. Those points are difficult. Or if you meet somebody that's far away and you want to try a long distance relationship, and a lot of those to me, now this is actually a really stable or not stable or fuzzy opinion, one of the other, I'm not sure was mine, so I'd say probably fuzzy more than other than stable. But long distance relationships, I wouldn't say it would work out for the most. It's harder to see the person, and if they're gonna fly, it costs more money or travel. I mean, if they live even in the same state, it costs quite a bit. So the longer the distance, the harder the relationship and the communication. Because then for sure you won't know if the person is cheating on you or they're lying, they're playing you out, they're doing stuff behind your back you don't want them to. Like some relationships, there people will be selling drugs for some odd reason. They'll be selling some substance, and people. There are people in relationships who they'll go smoke cannabis together, or they'll just smoke cigarettes, and they'll do really weird things, which I really would not comply with at all. But it's their choice, and if you're gonna stay with that person, that's your choice to stay with that person regardless of their choices, because you have your own choices. If both sides are going to try to control each other too, that is another way of breaking out into a fight. And as for trying to break out into a fight, I would not recommend doing that, because then even worse things are. So you want to end your relationships on good terms before they get worse. What do we have for questions? Do we got any questions? Probably not. No, we do not. But yeah. Also, if you've been with that person for, I don't, like 3 months or a week, and you're gonna sleep with them and interact with them in that way too, you also want to think about that and be prepared, because if you're gonna do something like that, I mean, younger kids, they'll have more, more of happy fun time. I don't know how to put those words, but just like that. And then when you're older too, you kind of slow down a bit, and you're just like in certain moments you'll need that like cuddling time, and too much cuddling, being clingy can help too, or showing too much PDA as teachers, people, the communities say, because showing that out in public, to some it is disturbing, some people won't notice, and it all kind of depends on where it's at. Who are you with? Is it appropriate at time? And usually at schools, it can be, but sometimes it can be too much. I mean, you can hug the person and you can walk away. If you're gonna like squeeze up against their body, that's probably not acceptable. I mean, because it could look pretty sexual. And as for doing that, I don't know exactly why you would, but again, people shouldn't judge. People who are working during school are only displaying that's not appropriate because they don't know what else that could entail. It's like what the people that have seen this around the internet, there's the person where sagging your pants in jail or whatever isn't a good thing. And if you know why, then you probably shouldn't be sagging your pants realistically at all, because that makes sense and to a lot of people. And really, I haven't seen people really sag their pants. And again, I don't know because I'm not in high school right now. Well, I graduated. Not in high school, it's like I dropped out, but no. But yeah, from my experiences too, or like, so I've had somebody move away or somebody cheat and play on others, and I've seen that a couple of times. It's kind of in the same way. It's losing a friend. Really, sometimes just mysteriously moving. Like they'll talk to you to communicate something, but then it's just like it's ended. You don't really notice, or you notice and you notice too much. So there's that. What time are we in? Oh, I don't like one of my glasses. It's weird with the reflection on it. So we're about at. Yeah, so I'm actually going to show you a video. You guys can go watch it as well. I'll get it up real quick. Because I'm going to talk about it after too. It is not one of the topics, but however it is, you can say it's relevant. Maybe not. Don't judge me. No, seriously, don't judge me. um, I gotta still move some stuff around. Excuse me, music. I do apologize again. Although you guys should love the tune. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't open another tab. Are you kidding me? Oh, sorry. Oh, well, you guys got to hear a couple of those tunes that you've heard so lovely before. Oh, that's certain. No, we did not say it. Was I just no? I was at some. I was doing. We'll show this video because we want in America. Did I turn the Q&A off by accident? No, I didn't. But that there is questions. Weird. Oh well. So we always kind of do the screen share thing. And then you get to see third time. And you guys can also see it later at some point too. So, I don't know how far that is behind, but we're gonna play this. I don't have to narrate anything because I'm basically narrating in it. Story time with Emily.
Once upon a time, there was a dinosaur toy that had magical, unknown, sarcastic rainbows and unicorns that were magically insane in the sense of randomness of having a girl that was a zombie named Jennifer the Magical, who waved her hand to open a portal to zombie land in Narnia, where Alvin, Simon, and Theodore were mermaids that had the power to make people into Pac-Man, and his goals to love shaving bacon and applying to take over the universe by riding Teletubby unicorns.
Story number 2.
Once upon a time, there was a magical bacon that was fried by killer bunnies with the power of killing more bacon with toxic acid that killed the whole zombie bacon army that tried to defy the Slendy Teletubbies that sleep all day and with their stuffed bacon at breakfast with an axe that chopped the table in half by using bacon grease and licking the bacon that was very flavorful in the noxious art of karate and tasted like bacon chicken A that exists since the dawn of apes, and bacon was imported from Narnia that was mysteriously contaminated and destroyed by Daleks.
Story number 3.
In Narnia, there was a Mewtwo that had the ability to create Narnia flowers that slapped Teletubbies into thinking that Narnia was filled with bacon that could poison the mind of children and make the children see Narnia because of Mew and the rest of Pokemon were not from Narnia, but they liked to sleep and eat snow from the ground. It tasted and smelled like Narnia, but felt crunchy and very hard to walk on. But Narnia was still delicious. But Narnia had fresh s'mores that totally smelled like Narnia, but stunk like a rotting corpse that were from Narnia had tasted like alcohol. And Barney came along and made everyone bow down to him. And then he died. But he lived on in Narnia.
And that concludes Story Time with Emily. I apologize if you aren't able to see that, but I also was not trying to do that, but, oh yeah, a lot of buts. That actually worked out because now that's going to kind of give you a tone of what it sounds like from, you're going to go to the actual video, and what you can do, just type in solution, or solutions.com, go to the bottom of their first page and click YouTube, and it's one of the first videos up there. You can also submit your community playlist YouTube video as well using the form. This was done by a friend, which is what I recorded and did, which is why it's up there, but it isn't me, and that's why it's up there already. So with that, why not? And so if you just go to the forum under request a solutions page, I'll go through it, see if it's appropriate, and I'll put it up on the playlist. It used to be a channel, but because I told you I wanted one channel, it's going to only be a playlist, just the way how Solutions, Weekend, and SoulePowered are now together. And dreams die, but no, I'm just kidding. I was going to try to find a really creative way to kind of enable dreams into it, and then so that's basically a dream, you could say, of somebody talking. I mean, during that, if you'd rather just close your eyes and listen to it talking, you don't have to stare at my pretty face. I mean, you could go play a computer game or go watch other YouTubers. I don't know how watching other YouTubers and me talking over them would work, or just kind of sit down, talk to families, and do what you gotta do, really. But I was gonna try to like look at wallpaper down, kind of hack those dreams. Yeah, I can't think about how I was gonna get into that next topic, but the next topic is dreams. So, speaking of relationships, you may go to bed one day, one night, whenever you go to bed, or if you're an owl, marshmallow. I don't know if you're something, you can't go to bed for some reason. But there's a lot of ways for dreams to appear. You're going to bed one. We'll keep on saying I have no idea why, but so well. Let's just say you're gonna go take a nap and you fall asleep. You wake up. You have an interesting dream. Does it mean something to you? Were there people you recognized in it? Were there familiar things? And your brain basically, the images it sees or knows about tries to put things together. If it doesn't see them, it's not going to be. And they're like correlate your relationship. If you've never seen that girl, or if you're cheating on somebody else and you've never seen the actual person, or they have a date, I don't know what's going with that, but if there's somebody else, you don't recognize them, you've probably seen them before. Because your brain's not going to put, I mean, they can mix certain aspects or something together, but again, your brain is pretty powerful. But in with dreams, you'll have people you recognize to make it kind of familiar, comforting. I'm guessing there's also a saying where if one person's not able to fall asleep, it's because the person who is actually in their dreams is dreaming about them. And in some cases, I actually believe that is true because it helps them focus on something else. It kind of like locks them out of their dreams, out of a mental state. Everybody's connected in some sort of powerful or emotional way, and I believe dreams or could have some, yeah, dreams could have something to do with that. Like premonitions could tell you your next steps to your relationships. They might not mean anything, but they can give you hints. You can have like signs. You can have usually when you're a kid and you're watching a lot of cartoons or scary movies or something like that, they'll those television programs will kind of be scrambled in your brain around a bit, and you're gonna go sleep and say you have a nightmare, and it's actually from that, or it could be from an experience around that time too that you felt. So it's trying to warn you of something, and so nightmares are a good thing. They because they usually wake you up when they're warning you about something. If you didn't wake up during a nightmare, as far as I'm aware of, you couldn't actually die while you're sleeping, but it could be probable. It's pretty similar to coma when you're in a deep sleep because your body is responsive. It's still working and everything. You can hear things, you're breathing because your brain's all functioning. So your brain's trying to put things together. It's almost like you're watching a movie, but it's telling you something completely different. And dreams will do that to you. You could have a premonition which gives you a really strong feeling in that dream that it's actually going to happen, and it can. You fall asleep one night, you wake up the next day, you have the dream, and it happens. There's really no explanation to how the brain knew it was going to or how it put it together, but it remembers certain things and rearranges them in different orders, like with rapid eye movement. I'm guessing that has one thing to do with it when you're sleeping. Again, I'm no psychologist, but I go off based off the knowledge I know of. And dreams, I know quite a bit about, but not too much. If you have, because if you have really bad experiences too, you're more likely to have nightmares or possibly even headaches. Again, I'm not aware of everything. Everybody is different. Some people say they don't dream, and some people plainly just don't remember dream. But I'm pretty sure in a way you're always kind of dreaming about something, whether it's visual or mentally, because your brain's always working regardless of that. So, um, like if your brain, you go to sleep, close your eyes, and it's just a blank white space, blank black space, or whatever. Put a color in there or anything, and what could it be? It could be anything. And then your brain just kind of starts putting images together, wandering around. Put a penguin in that colorful space, and then because a penguin is something you've seen before, you've watched on YouTube. Actually, yeah, penguins. I was gonna say something else, but no. So penguin could be in there, and then it's like then somehow you find a Santa hat for some reason. Your brain's telling you that this penguin is Santa, or it's wearing a Santa hat with this purplish background, but so certain things you'll remember seeing familiar, like people's faces. You're not going to see somebody's face if you haven't seen it before, so you won't recognize them. Like a stranger, you can see a stranger's face. You don't have to know them, but you will recognize them. Hold on one second. But yeah, that was weird. Yeah, but there. Trying to think. Dreams putting together. It's like what else is there? Like scary movies, you could actually be placed because you remember scenes of a scary movie. So you could actually, your brain could actually be placing a cast member from that scary movie or happy movie, whichever you prefer or dreamed about, and it's like you're placed into it and you feel that. But again, your brain can create certain images that are together, that are separate, and it's kind of sewing each and everything together or making sure what it is. And the brain's trying to create something to kind of entertain, kind of. Yeah, I do that a lot. I apologize. Kind of entertain you, and so with that, you could have crazy experience. Biggest thing of all though is, well, there's a lot of big things with dreams, but dreams are usually trying to tell you something as crazy as they may be, or if you don't remember them, because a lot of people will not remember as soon as they wake up, depending on the dream, probably the length of how long it is or how short it is. But having a dream journal, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard that too. Having a dream journal has helped a lot of people kind of remember dreams, and using the dreams and stories, maybe you could use it for an English class or something. I mean, or show it to a psychologist because they may mean something, or having those memories, you could be concerned, or maybe you're like some sort of psychic and you don't know it. So that's another. So using hypotheses and dreams and collecting data on what does this mean? Excuse me. What is it gonna do? Have I seen it before? Is my brain telling me this for a reason? And a lot of general questions could be asked like that and stuff. So yeah. But yeah. So I believe we kind of been talking pretty close to about um dreams and dreams and relationships for a while. That's another thing. So those kind of intertwine with each other, and that's another reason why I've actually mentioned these two together. And they are separate topics, but why are they in the same video is because they're relevant to each other. You can dream about a relationship. A relationship can be a dream. They're kind of into each other as if you're into a girl or something. Be Be so animated. Um, so there's a lot of different things you can do in Dreambot: create, invent, and emphasize. And I don't know if emphasize is really the correct terminology for this, but that's when I went out about an hour, so probably am gonna actually end this one off. Or at least you guys can, skim around a little bit, and I'm gonna try to play that video one last time, and maybe it'll work. So I'm gonna see if it will. And if it does not, I do apologize. So bear with me, please. Again, you can go to it. On just to end. I don't want it to, but um, so it's actually working. Oh my gosh, it works. So I'm gonna just replay it for you. I mean, again, you can watch it on YouTube, but so this should kind of give you a better perspective of dreams, maybe somehow. These are not dreams, but what I want you actually to do, if probable enough, is talk, like, go down in the comments below this video, kind of after you maybe fell asleep and remember that you're writing a dream journal. You can do either so, but I am going to replay the video, so I hope you enjoy. Well, maybe. I have to see something. Uh, well, I do apologize, but I don't believe we will be able to do it in the full screen as far as I'm aware of, or will we present to? No, we won't. So with that, I'm gonna end this. If you guys, we can talk about 40 minutes, and I did not have a break like usual, so as you can tell, my voice is like, yeah. That's probably pretty strange for the director of solutions to do. I would assume so. That's why I have stuff on this channel, because it's more laid back and interactive. Where solutions, it's kind of strict. So, again, you guys, I hope you enjoy your Saturday. Feel free to comment down below, fill out those forms, interact with each other once in a bit, and do a lot of things and have fun. So I will see you guys possibly next Saturday or Sunday, as always. Again, let's see if I can actually get this right. So I'm already getting wrong before I got ended up. So SoulePowered is every weekend, every Sunday or Saturday, not both days. It's either one or the other. I mean, it could be on occasions at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time and goes about, at the most, probably 30, 40 minutes. I try to make it up to that. Sometimes it's a little less than that, depending on the information or the talking time I am available for, or discussion time, whatever terminology again you want before. Pro four. Pro four. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Stay strong and problem solve on.